Hello, everybody, and welcome to Political Bite number 175, dated February 4th, 2021. I'm Walter, your mobile historian and blue-collar scholar. This Political Bite is entitled The Electoral College 101. This will provide you with a simple overview of the Electoral College, a little bit of background, so that you understand how it works, all right? So the Electoral College, quite simply put, is one of the most well-known institutions in American political life, yet, by the same token, one of the least understood. I would go so far as to say that probably about 60% of the population, while of course knowing of the Electoral College, has absolutely no idea how it works. Okay? So a little bit of background first. The Electoral College was a result of many creative minds at the Constitutional Convention in 1787, all right? It wasn't exactly, agreed upon in opinion on how the president should be selected. Some delegates wanted the president to be chosen directly by popular vote. Others wanted Congress to choose the president, all right? There was a lot of disagreement between the delegates until the compromise solution, essentially, of the Electoral College was created, all right? A lot of people supported the idea of an Electoral College at the Constitutional Convention, quite simply because it diluted the possibility of the big states dominating who the president would be in the event of direct popular vote. And it also appeased many individuals who feared that, in directly electing the president by popular vote, we wouldn't get, with an electoral college, we probably wouldn't get, this megalomaniac, crazy individual who might want to become a dictator or tyrant. No specific reference to the previous incumbent to the presidency. But in any case, the Electoral College was a product of those compromising minds, and that is what we have to this very day in selecting the President of the United States. So, there are 538 electors, all right? Each state is entitled to as many electors as they have representatives in Congress. Thus, 2 senators and however many members of the House of Representatives constitute how many electors each state is entitled to. By the terms of the 23rd Amendment to the Constitution, the District of Columbia has 3. Of course, D.C. is not a state, but by the terms of the 23rd Amendment, they are entitled to the same amount of electors as the least populous state in the Union, which, at the present time anyway, is Wyoming. All right? So, a candidate running for the American presidency needs 270 electoral votes to win the presidency. All right? When we come out and vote on election day, all right, we are voting for a slate of electors, all right, in each state, all right, whether Democratic or Republican, all right, as it's essential in our two-party system, all right. And in turn, these electors will go on and cast their vote for president and vice president of the United States. All right. So the Constitution essentially establishes the Electoral College via Article 2, Section 1, Clauses 2 through 4. All right. Clause 3 was modified by the 12th Amendment to the Constitution. All right. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution, along with other provisions in Article 2, Section 1, Clause number 2, specifically sets out specific prohibitions on individuals who may not serve as electors, all right? The states essentially were given the primary amount of authority to decide who could be an elector and how they would be chosen, all right? Naturally, you would expect that in a system which at the time anyway favored state power in concurrence with federal power, all right? Whereas today it's obviously more tilted toward more federal power over the states, all right? So, for most of American history, the states, all right, appointed their electors, however they so chose. Governor might appoint them, whatever, legislature might appoint them. Some states chose them by way of election. Today, however, most electors in the states are chosen by party conventions, and they are typically individuals who are rewarded for their passionate and unwavering service to the party. All right. In many cases, electors are the product of direct and full-fledged partisanism in the states. And in choosing electors, the states reflect how they want to be sure that the people chosen as electors are firmly committed to voting along party lines once the presidential election happens. Indeed, another method that they're chosen is through party conventions, all right? Whether or not the people have any say in this process also will likely vary from state to state. Again, the states have a great deal of latitude in choosing electors outside of specific prohibitions in the U.S. Constitution. So on election day, this is what occurs. By the time this happens, all right, each party has a slate of candidates. Each party has a candidate of electors, all right? And when we cast our ballots for President of the United States, all right, we, are essentially indirectly voting for President of the United States by voting for this candidate of electors, this cast of electors, all right? These electors, like I said, once the total vote count in the state is tabulated, these electors essentially will then cast their vote for president and vice president of the United States. So when we vote for president, though we are, of course, picking our preferred candidate, by picking our preferred candidate, we are indirectly choosing that candidate, but directly choosing that slate of electors who will then go on and vote for that candidate. In mid-December, these electors will meet in their state capitals and officially cast their votes for president and vice president of the United States. All right. And as pursuant to the 12th Amendment to the Constitution, once they've met in their state capitals and voted, and those results are certified, in the beginning of January, those certifications will be opened, and counted by way of the Vice President of the United States before the Senate and the House of Representatives. All right, this is the final step of the process. Okay, this is what was going on when the MAGA terrorists attacked the U.S. Capitol building on January 6th, 2021. All right, the final step of the electoral process in confirming who the next president of the United States will be. Needless to say, whoever commands a majority becomes the next president of the United States. By the time the process happens in Congress, all right, presided over by the vice president, an individual almost certainly has a majority, if not entirely certainly, unless there are objections, which could potentially strike out votes, which certain members of Congress did. And then, if that process were to happen, to throw out any electoral votes, it would require a majority vote in both houses, which was obviously not going to happen. But I just thought I'd throw that in there for you. All right. So that's the process from November 3rd all the way up until the beginning of January. All right. So by January 20th, that is when the new president, of course, on that day, the new president and vice president will be sworn into office. All right. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the concept of faithless electors. All right. These are individuals who do not vote according to their party slate and instead vote for someone else. Okay. It doesn't happen in exceptionally large amount of time, but it does happen from time to time, and individual states have different ways of dealing with this. 32 states have laws in effect which bind electors to vote for their party slate. If they don't, they can be fined, all right, or other punishments may be on the table. However, 18 states allow electors to have freedom, all right, to vote however they wish. And in 2020, the Supreme Court stated that individual U.S. states could indeed punish faithless electors. Okay. Before we go, for the record, there are two types of systems used in the Electoral College to determine how candidates win the states. 48 states use the winner-take-all method. Quite simply put, the candidate who wins the majority of the popular vote in the state, wins that state and all of its electoral votes. 48 states use this. The two states that do not use this, Maine and Nebraska, use what's known as the district method. All right. Maine has used this since 1996. Nebraska has used this since 1972. The district method, quite simply, awards the electoral votes in a state. All right. Two of the electoral votes in that state automatically go to the winner of the state's popular vote. You know, 2 U.S. senators, those two electoral votes go to the popular vote winner. And in the congressional districts of those states, however many they have, are individually awarded to the winner of the popular vote in those districts. So as you've seen in recent elections, including 2016, all right, and 2020, Maine and Nebraska, you have seen the electoral vote split, all right, with the winner of the popular vote and at least one congressional district going to one candidate and the vote in another congressional district going to another candidate, all right? So in those states, you see often a split in the electoral vote, and that is completely fine because they have a different method in use, all right? They don't have the winner-take-all system. So again, with the district method, 2 of the state's electoral votes automatically go to the winner of the state's popular vote, and the other electoral votes go to the winner of those states' individual congressional districts. All right. So that's how that works. And that's pretty much the Electoral College summarized. All right. If you have any questions or controversies, leave them down below. I'll be happy to answer them. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so right now. Just hit that little red subscribe button and that little bell, and we'll be in business. If anything was unclear, leave a question down below and I will get back to you. Thanks again for listening. I really appreciate you. Hope you learned something from this. Take care, stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you at the next bite. Peace.